everybody. Welcome to Powerful Stuff, or should I say, bem-vindo a Powerful Stuff. Eu estou no Falls de Iguazu, Iguazu Falls, at the Brazilian, Paraguayan, and Argentinian border. I just left Florianopolis with my husband. I've been recording Powerful Stuff episodes in Los Angeles ahead of my 4.5 month travel and work remote with my husband. And so what you just heard last week was the last episode that I had recorded over a month ago with my bestie Savannah, who's the founder of Moss Conscious Co-working and Community Space. But the cool thing about these episodes moving forward is that they're all happening in real time, much like many of my Powerful Stuff episodes ahead of Burning Man. But then I went on an interview spree because I was just having so many incredible conversations with people and wanted to soak up as much conversation time as possible before I began this work remote sabbatical. So that's where we are right now, guys. It's going to be me and you again, just like the old times, those powerful one-off episodes after we've gotten so much wisdom from all of our amazing guests from this last year. And next week, we're totally going to do a Powerful Stuff recount, learnings of 2024, the highs, the lows, everything in between. Nothing is off limits. So if there's a particular high or low or 2024 milestone you want to share with me, please send me a message. I would love, love, love to hear it. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a catch up on where I've been at with then a little theme for today. The theme for today, gosh, I was like choosing between two, and who knows, maybe I'll give you two today. Like, why not? We'll do like a little medi around one, but don't worry, we'll do like journaling questions and personal back and forth around both. But anyways, before we get into that, yeah, as I said, I left Los Angeles in the beginning of November, right before the election, which, as you know from listening to some of my past episodes, was a shitstorm. I did a few past episodes on, what to do when we feel hopeless, and in times of loss and despair, and how to keep going and how to keep fighting the good fight. I won't get too much into that now. Anyways, I left LA during the election week. Still had a ton of conversations with friends that week, though, and felt very, energetically connected to what was going on. The first week we landed in Sacred Valley, and we stayed with my coach's coach at this amazing bed and breakfast in the Sacred Valley near Pisac. And we just threw ourselves into the deep end and did 4 plant medicine ceremonies that week to kind of cleanse and set the intention for our trip. And without going too much into my plant medicine ceremonies, I will say that so much of it was like not needing to hold on to like the pain of, others so much, like to be a shining light, to do what I can to help, but to not like hold so much pain and expectation, right? A lot of pain can come from expectation. And then the more I focus on my own joy and delight, the more I can be that light for others. So rather than focusing on the things that upset me or the people who let me down or the people I was disappointed by, like focus on the change I do want to see in the world, focus on the people that are inspiring me, right? Like focus on what is and nourish and water that. And then you'll get more of that, as I've said in past episodes. And so that was a download I kept getting, because as much as we teach ourselves these lessons, whether we're a coach or we've had these musings, you know what? We need to keep learning them again sometimes. It's a constant upward spiral. And so that's really what my plant medicine journey was about. And of course, they say the ceremony begins after the ceremony. So I had many opportunities, many welcome triggers, which are treasures if we let them be welcome triggers after the ceremony, being like, okay, you saw these things in the ceremony, you had these moments, like, are you ready for this level of joy? Because they're also, with this level of joy equally comes this level of being able to hold space for that thing, or being this understanding, or taking this level of ownership. So I was definitely tested this last month amidst all of the amazing things that I was doing this last month. I, like, my husband and I saw Machu Picchu. We stayed at other places in the Sacred Valley where we got to feed llamas. We went to Bolivia, and We went to Lake Titicaca, which is the highest elevation lake in the world. We also went to Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flats in the world in Bolivia. You guys don't sleep on Bolivia. It's powerful. And then I went to a friend's wedding in Sao Paulo, and then we were in Florianopolis, and I did some hiking, did Ashtanga yoga classes in Portuguese, booked a Reiki session. I love experiencing the healers and the different mindfulness modalities of the different places I go, especially because I do speak Spanish and Portuguese conversationally, but it's really good to kind of force myself in that environment to really understand everything. Anyways, all of that's to say, amidst all of those amazing things, guys, gosh, I miss us. I miss and I love us. Like, just look at us bantering again, getting into the rabbit holes. It's just like old times. Gosh, is this as good for you as it is for me? I hope so. But anyways, circling back, even amidst all these amazing things, there were challenges this last month. I felt like, also amidst some of the amazing things, oh my gosh, cliffhanger. Like I did launch my 9th upgrade cohort, which was super exciting, and my upgrade mastermind for upgrade graduates. So it was like a really great professional month and also with travel. But amidst that, if we don't make time to slow down, we can find ourselves getting trapped in the expectation hamster wheel, right? And so even though I've already done an episode on expectation, I wanted to talk a little bit about it today and what we can do when we notice it creeping up again, and how we can continue to have compassion with ourselves when it does creep up again. So yeah, amidst all of these things, like I said, I was like pretty sensitive after the first, like the week of the election. I was like pretty down, and even amidst being in Peru, I felt like I was processing a lot of grief around it. And like that compounded with a loved one, as I've mentioned on my past episode with Shola, who doesn't have the same political beliefs as me. I found like that challenging and kind of resurfacing in different ways. And then I was in planning mode, like where are we going next? What Airbnb are we booking? Will it have like good enough Wi-Fi for me to take my calls? Like I want to make sure that we see XYZ in Bolivia before we leave, before we have to get to my friend's wedding in Sao Paulo. And so it's like, these are all like, outside of the election stuff, like those are all good problems to have. But when I wasn't slowing down, I noticed myself feeling like overwhelmed, or like the travel stuff suddenly became energy leaks of things that I had to do and things that felt undone. And then when I didn't do them, what I would end up doing is I would end up like scrolling on TikTok to like avoid responsibility. But when you have like a running to-do list and you get overwhelmed, so you just like get on TikTok, and the next thing you know, you're like, how did 3 hours go by? Where did that go? Can I get those hours back? I'd like a refund, please. No, but you know what? I consciously chose that. And for some reason, unbeknownst to me at the time, I needed to be on TikTok for those moments. And I love and accept myself for that. So all of that's to say, guys, little trickling of things happened. And then I would feel shame for feeling that way. I would feel shame that, oh my gosh, I'm on this beautiful trip of a lifetime with my husband. And, we're like doing all these amazing things. And now I'm scrolling, and now I'm like making myself feel bad. Like, what's this about? Most people would be like, why aren't you just like fully enjoying yourself where you are? I'm a coach. I should be able to do this thing. I've just done these plant medicine ceremonies. And then all those should start coming in. Like, you should be having fun. You should be more grateful. You should be able to do this. You're a coach. You should, and then next thing you know, I was shitting all over myself. Just should everywhere. It was explosive. It's like I didn't even take expectation X-lax. Expectation X-lax. You guys see what I did there? Anyways, all of that's to say, I noticed myself shooting all over myself with expectation lax. X-lax. Okay, I'm going to stop it now, but you guys get the drift. And so, yeah, it wasn't until really this last week where it all kind of came to a head. I felt myself being a little bit more like negative with Spencer, and like when he would have a long work day and then he would come home, or we were both at the Airbnb. What am I saying? But he would switch off, and I would be kind of like, oh, I just spent 2 hours on TikTok. Why did I do that? Even though I was doing a lot of other stuff like that last week, like getting the Reiki, going for the hike, doing stuff for coaching. which then, me kind of complaining to him about a self-imposed affliction after he's had a busy, stressful day, like didn't make him feel good. And then he was like grumpy about it. And then we weren't as connected. And part of it was like self-imposed. And, it's so funny because I ended up like, creating the situation that I said I wanted to avoid. It's so funny because right now in the upgrade, I'm literally teaching patterns week. Like, why are we doing patterns that we say we want to avoid and how to break those feedback loops? And then the next week that I'm about to teach tomorrow is like, love thy shadow, right? Loving your shadow, loving that part of yourself that does self-sabotage, that knows like, okay, why am I doing this? I said I didn't want to be doing this, but I'm doing this anyways. Like, what part of me likes it, right? As Carolyn Elliott, who wrote Existential Kink, said, having is evidence of wanting, meaning if we have it, some part of us liked it, some part of us allowed ourselves to get into that situation. And even though that's kind of a heady concept to grasp, the gist of it is like, we're radically empowered and like not as much in the like why is this happening to me mindset. If we're like, okay, if I have this, or if this keeps happening, some part of me must like it. So yeah, if you guys haven't guessed, today's episode is about expectation. We are going to throw in my second theme, but it's going to be a little bit of a side theme. I know you're like wondering, Meredith, where are you going with this? But I fully surrender. I fully trust. I love the spontaneous journey that we're on together. We're both literally like letting it free flow together. Again, hoping this is feeling as powerful for you guys as it is for me. But so all of that's to say, last week, shitting all over myself. I just want to clarify each time just so you guys like super know that I was not shitting all over myself. But yeah. And so it was like coming up at the time as I was teaching like the patterns and the feedback loops and the shadow stuff to the upgrade women. And it's just such a funny, humbling thing of like, okay, when we teach it, like the teacher is never done. We are also humbly a student. And also like I kept asking myself when things kept happening last week, like, my little TikTok pattern or my little kerfuffle patterns with Spencer, of which, I've just acknowledged, full transparency, my side of it. Spencer, if you're listening, shout out. Sorry for my side of it. Looking forward to hearing yours as well, if that's something you feel called to do. No, I'm joking. I love you. So, yeah, I make Spencer listen to each of these episodes, so he's definitely going to hear it in case you guys are wondering. And I love him for that, for being a loyal listener. And I love all of you other loyal listeners as well. And you new listeners, hopefully also loyal one day energetically. I feel it growing between us. So yeah, I had a moment last week with like the TikTok patterns, and I also had some like travel patterns. You know how I was saying, like I was getting kind of like fatigued from traveling. So I was getting these kind of like pings of like, I'm kind of, needing to look at my own patterns and my own shadow this week and being the coach my clients think I am, right? Which is walking the fire, which is not being like, oh, I'm healed. I don't need to look at these things again. I've already done this work. It's like, okay, great. If it's like, I'm teaching it to my clients, it's like, the universe is like, okay, you're teaching it to your clients. Let's see you walk the fire yourself. Let's see you be like, how am I creating the situations I say I want to avoid? How can I use the tools that I'm teaching my clients to actually like step into my own power? And so that's what I was doing last week, is like, how is this happening for me? I had a few travel things happen. Like we booked a hotel on the Argentinian border of Iguazu Falls, and they wouldn't give us our money back, even though we canceled it 20 minutes after booking it when we realized our error. And then like there was a leak in one of our Airbnbs in Florianopolis, and like potentially mold, and we wanted to get that fixed. And then I booked a recording session last week to record a new song, Watch This Space. And I ended up, realizing it was like an hour away versus I thought it was 10 minutes away. So all those things kept happening to me. And instead of being like, oh my gosh, why me? Like throwing a fit about it, I was like, okay, some part of me isn't being like fully present with myself, right? It's not like all of these things, like outside of the mold one, I could have avoided just by paying attention to the details, by slowing down, by checking in with the details of these things, right? And so it's like those are kind of an outer reflection of my inner world. And I was like, okay, this means like inner Meredith needs to slow down. She needs to check in with herself. She needs to ask herself, like, where am I missing things? How can these little details actually have huge shifts for me? How can I welcome the opportunity, just as I tell my clients, to like have an inner shadow date of like that shadow Meredith that just like loves, um, you know, having like these travel annoyances, or loves being victim to her circumstance even when things are going great, or loves kind of um yeah complaining about these things and then feeling bad about it because she's knows she should be so grateful to be on this kind of trip. So all of that's to say, I kind of looked at last week when I had those 3 travel things happen and be like, okay, these are actually physical manifestations of like not being in my power, of looking for things to kind of like get mad about, but things that were completely within my control. And so how do I actually start to take ownership over these? So I re-listened to Existential Kink. I kind of asked myself what part of me likes these patterns, and for those patterns, it's like I like, or, the fun shadow side of it. It was like, part of me must love like being, kind of getting to complain on this amazing trip and like taking my presence away from the beauty around me. Maybe part of me feels like I don't deserve it. Can I talk to that part of Meredith? And so a few things I did last week to get out of this funk and to kind of drop expectation, or to turn expectation around, was number one, I started using this Rosebud app. It's an AI journaling app, and you can just totally like word vomit and brain dump into it. It's amazing. And then you can keep clicking to ask it to go deeper after you've recorded your voice thing, and after you've recorded your voice note. And I did that, and it was really good just to like organize my thoughts. And it actually helps you like pull out insights from your journaling, because sometimes we don't often go back through our like handwritten journals. I think there's such a use for handwritten journaling as well, but it was really cool to kind of go back in my Rosebud AI journals. Like, you deserve to be acknowledged. Like, it's understandable why you'd feel hard on yourself, but make sure to celebrate yourself too and take time to enjoy like where you are, and just kind of nice reflections that like a good friend would give you. I did talk to a few good friends on the phone last week. And then the most important thing to kind of break the expectation cycle is to like do something completely out of your daily routine, completely spontaneous, completely just like, I wasn't expecting this. I want to surprise and delight myself. And so what I did for that is I was running, and I had like a few hours before my coaching calls, and I saw a kayak, and I was like, it would be fun to go. And oh my gosh, sorry, where was I, guys? Wi-Fi cut out. The life of a travel remote worker. Am I right? Thanks for bearing with me. So yeah, I like spontaneously went on the kayaking journey, like just 30 minutes, like kayaking. Then I jumped in the lake, and it was just like a kind of like, I deserve to have fun. I get to have fun. I don't have to have earned this, or I don't have to have sent out my weekly newsletter yet, or done X or Y or Z. So I feel like one step to like starting to break the expectation cycle is to just be like, I fucking deserve to have fun, right? So often we have expectation because our younger self, our inner child, just wants to give us the best experience possible, because like they just want to make us happy, right? And so part of getting out of expectation is being like, I deserve to be happy right now. I deserve to enjoy what I'm experiencing right now. So that was number one. Number two, every coach should have like their own coach or therapist, or confidant person to talk to. So I booked a session with my coach, and he reminded me like to be my own best travel buddy, like regardless if Spencer's working a lot or if we have a little kerfuffle or fight. I always use that word for our fights on powerful stuff. I don't know why, but now it's a thing. And yeah, to actually like, how can I be my own travel buddy as in with the expectation, right? How can I not rely on anyone else to give me the experience that I want to have? How can I make that experience happen for myself? And, if I made those mistakes with the travel, like things in the travel bookings, how can I fully own that? And then be like, okay, where do I go from here? And something that I've talked about in an episode before of acceptance is we can get out of expectation by just accepting a situation for what it is. I accept that I did that. What is my choice from here, right? Acceptance plus choice helps remove expectation. So I did that with myself and the travel stuff. I did that with like my kind of shame around the TikTok scrolling of like, I accept that I have spent all that time on TikTok. My choice is to like maybe intentionally allow myself to get on for 10 minutes a day, but be aware like why I'm doing it and that I'm doing it. My acceptance is that it was what it was. And my choice is not to beat myself up about it. And I did that with like, my Spencer stuff too. Like I accept that we've had, like some fights this week while we were traveling. And my choice is to learn how we can grow from them, how we can become even stronger from it. So it takes the driver, you put yourself back in the driver's seat, and it makes it a little bit more empowering. And also with these kind of spontaneous inner child dates, also a little bit more fun, sending that message to your subconscious. I deserve to have fun. I get to have fun. Right. And so that's kind of like the first step with the expectation. So just to recap all of these steps for y'all, step number 1 is just like doing something out of your routine, like surprising and delighting yourself. Even if it's like, I'm going to go to a new cafe today, or I'm going to, go and like use my spare hour to like take this new workout class that I've never done before. Just like getting yourself out of like that kind of like hamster wheel brain of what I have to do next and will it be like this and whatever. Because it's also when we do something spontaneous, we show our brains like I can exist in uncertainty and I can have fun. Then from after that, it's like having the acceptance plus choice. What do I accept about the current situation? And what is my choice from here on out? And, that's what it was good to talk to my coach about. And then the last thing, that's just as a little aside, I just did a little posty on Instagram about it, but it's expecting magic. So, on Florianopolis, it's known as Iliaji Magica, the island of magic, because folklore says that witches and sorcerers used to roam the island, and that, as they roamed the island, like bewitched people roam the island at night. So it's called the Iliaji Magica. And there's a lot of like witchcraft and cool spiritual stuff on the island. And I was like, what if I traded my expectation for expecting magic? What if I expected like something delightful is going to happen? What if I expected that, whatever perceived negative turn of events actually is leading me to something great? Like the idea that everything is happening for you. And it's so simple, and it's so, such a same way of saying like, or a different way of saying the same thing of like, everything's happening for me, or, how can you learn and grow from this? Right. But sometimes we just need to hear it in a different way. And it's all about remembering and being compassionate with ourselves. I feel like so many of my lessons this last month were things that I already know and that I've already had an initiation around and that I teach my clients. And it was like the idea of staying humble, and that it's, a relationship, and that it's work, and that when we get these like expectation moments or moments where you feel kind of like you're stuck in a pattern, it's like a wake-up call of like, okay, that part of me needs a little extra love, and I'm not going to shame it or create a story around it, but I get to look at it joyfully now and deepen my understanding of it and my acceptance of it. How powerful is that? So that's the main topic today. And I was going to give you guys the second topic, but you know what? I actually do feel like it's so powerful that I want to do a second one on it. So I'm not even going to tell you what it was, but if you listen to today's, it'll segue perfectly into that. And we'll do that together next time. Okay. So let's just do a little expectation clearing, highest joyful self meditation moment, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. So just closing your eyes. And we're going to do 3 like really like loud, just releasing breaths, not taking this meditation so seriously, as we said, expecting magic and getting into our playful surprise and delight energy. So with that being said, just take a deep breath in And exhale, let it out, make a noise, stick your tongue out, let your head hang side to side. Do it again and really make your inhale audible, like maybe even your nostrils are flaring. Who knows what's going on up there? And then exhale everything out. And then third breath in, like you're breathing in the heaviness of all the weight of that expectation, holding at the top. And as you hold it at the top, it's like a witch is churning it in your head in a cauldron, turning it into golden liquid. And exhale that out, feeling that flush your whole body. And as you keep your eyes closed, imagine all of the weight of that expectation just being kind of swept away by this golden liquid. Imagine it being swept away, noticing if you're still holding on to expectation around something, where it is in your body, and then sending that golden liquid to it. Imagine the golden liquid starting to dislodge the expectation. And as the expectation is dislodged, imagining it being swept away, getting further and further in your mind's eye until your whole body is breathing in this golden liquid. And as you're breathing in this golden liquid, seeing an image of your inner child emerge. Seeing them perfect just as they are, and then asking them why they have expectation around this thing. Why do they want it to be so perfect for you? What do they feel is at stake? And just listening compassionately, letting them know that makes sense. That makes sense you'd want that for me. Seeing that they're just doing it because they want to make you happy. And then letting them know after they tell you why they want this thing to be perfect. Letting them know that you don't need it to be perfect. It's going to be okay either way, that you've actually got both of you. Either way, you're going to have a great time together. Either way. And how powerful is that? And as you feel them start to relax into that trust of, oh, I don't need to hold on to this thing. I don't need to try to control it. Feeling you both start to breathe easier. And then asking your inner child, how do they want to feel at the end of the day with this thing? Not focusing on the outcome, but just how do they want to feel? Maybe do they want to feel inspired or happy or joyful? Trusting whatever they say. And then asking them what's something they'd like to do right now that you could do with them today or this week to step into that feeling right now, regardless of how that thing plays out. Maybe it's like they want to feel joyful at the end of the thing they were trying to control, but instead today you could go for a rollerblade. What's that thing that can help you step into that feeling in the present moment with your inner child right now, showing them you don't need that thing to unfold that's out of your circumstance, that's out of your hands. You can step into that feeling right now. Imagine holding their hands in this swirl of golden liquid, this golden light. Breathing in that feeling right now, feeling it swell up from your hips, feeling it swell up from your heart, feeling it swell up and out the crown of your head. Seeing your inner child start to embody this more as a smile comes to their lips. And as whatever grip from expectation has gone away, it's completely been replaced by this feeling right here and now, feeling so present with what is, and so joyful and so excited to continue to let the present moment unfold. That you never felt more you. You've never felt more trusting of you. You've never felt more like, I've got me. I've got me, and this is me in my zone of genius. This is me in my flow. This is me in my power. This is me enjoying every tiny moment and treating it like I expect magic. In that energy, taking a deep breath in and exhaling it out, feeling it wash over you. Another deep breath in and exhale, release. And then third and deepest breath in. And exhale, let it go. Opening your eyes, coming back into this space. And then as you come back into this space, noticing how you feel right now, hopefully very present, hopefully very free. And my wish for you guys, after we've been on such a long and winding journey together today, but as Oasis says, all the roads we have to walk are winding. You know what I'm saying? And we did that today. But my hope for you is that whatever expectation is coming up for you, because you haven't slowed down to stop and smell the roses, which is actually what the woman at my Reiki session told me I should do. She actually told me I should make a flower bath where I put them in hot water and then let the vapor, the essence, open me up like a flower. But anyways, neither here nor there. My hope for you is that you slow down to smell the flowers, to smell the roses, that you give yourself moments of surprise and delight, and that you let it be okay. You don't attach a story to like whatever shame you might have or whatever patterns you might have right now, even if you feel like you've solved them in the past, because we're all on this upward spiral. And that's been my main catch up with you the last month of like my own journey of the yes and of being grateful for the best month ever of traveling and coaching, and reminding myself to slow down, reminding myself of my own relationship upkeep, reminding myself to put my money where my mouth is with my own coaching tools with my clients. And so let me know how you've released expectation this week, how you've stepped into joy, how you've started to expect magic. If we're going to expect anything, we may as well expect magic. And let me know what you want to hear from me for some end of 2024 musings and wrap-ups. I'm super excited for the next few episodes. And I'm sorry I blue balls you with the 2 topics this week. We will cover the other topic. And as you guessed it, it's going to be powerful. You are powerful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Send this to a friend who wants to go on a winding journey to release their expectation as well. And I will see you next week for more powerful stuff. Hey, you. Thank you for coming on this powerful journey with me. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And if it was, it would mean the world to me if you rate, review, and subscribe to Powerful Stuff so I can keep bringing you the goods. We can keep going on this transformative journey together. And if there's powerful stuff that you want to share with me, with the Powerful Stuff community, tag us on Instagram at That's Powerful Stuff or the Meredith Baker. And I look forward to seeing you next week for more powerful stuff.